Hi and welcome to today's program. I'm sitting here in this tree which is known as the Autocapus altilis, the breadfruit tree of course. Now the breadfruit tree is actually one of the great food producers of the world and comes from the mulberry family, which is also where the breadnut tree comes from. Now the breadnut tree is actually a breadfruit with seeds. The breadfruit is believed to be native to quite a vast area extending from New Guinea through to the Indo-Malayan archipelago. It showed up in the Hawaiian and Samoan islands around the 12th century AD. The Europeans first saw it in the Marquesas in 1595, then in Tahiti in 1606. During the great periods of famine in Jamaica between 1780 and 1786, the English explorers were loud in its praises and its fame. Actually, the breadfruit was so highly thought of that it inspired the plantation owners in the British West Indies to petition King George III to import seedless breadfruit trees to provide food for their slaves. Now, the breadfruit tree is actually grown from suckers, well, the non-seeded ones anyway, like the ones we have common here. This is a non-seeded breadfruit tree, and the seeded ones, like the breadnut tree, are actually grown from seeds. The breadfruit is widely known throughout the world and is actually a very beautiful tree, as you can see from the one I'm sitting in, that can grow up to 85 feet in height. The tree has white, bright, glossy green leaves that are deeply cut into anywhere from 5 to 11 pointy lobes. Now, if you look at the back of the breadfruit leaf, you will find that there is dull yellowish veins coated with tiny stiff hairs throughout the breadfruit. There are two main types of breadfruit. The normal wild type, which has a seed and very little pulp, and then the more cultivated seedless one. When the fruit is green, it is quite hard on the outside, and the flesh on the inside is white and starchy. However, when the fruit becomes ripe, it becomes yellow to brown in color, and in some cases, even lavender. And the flesh turns light yellow, which gives off a very sweet fragrance. The peak harvest periods for the breadfruit is normally during the months of July to October. However, you can find moderate quantities from April onwards and during the month of November. Now, there are a number of dishes which you can prepare with the breadfruit. Some of the more common and simpler ones are the boiled breadfruit, the fried breadfruit, or even the breadfruit soup. However, breadfruit can go even further than this. The breadfruit can also be used as a substitute for pie dough. You can use the ripened breadfruits to make desserts. There is also a breadfruit punch, which is like a milk punch. You can prepare candied breadfruit or even a sweet pickle with the breadfruit. To help us today prepare some delicious dishes from the breadfruit, we have invited son of the soil, Chef Robbie Skeet. Chef Robbie Skeet started his cooking career just out of high school. He left the island to study interior design but found himself lured back to the kitchen and returned back to his homeland as a chef. Today, Chef Robbie runs one of the island's most popular restaurants in the town of Castries, known as Caribbean Pirates at La Place Carénage. But before we get into our cooking segment, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and I hope to safely get down from this breadfruit tree and away from the red ants. Stay tuned, back to the kitchen when we come from our commercial break.
Agriculture, one of the pillars of Saint Lucia's economic development, creating opportunities for earning a living for the farmer and his family. From the field to the kitchen, the St. Lucians are finding creative ways of using fruits, crops, and vegetables grown locally. From local seasonings to special brews, from aquaculture to the cultivation of local herbs for export. A strong agriculture industry strengthens the economy. The country needs your support, so buy local.
Hi and welcome back from the commercial break. Well, here's Chef Robbie with us in our kitchen. Robbie, welcome to the program. You're a very popular face around town.
So you say, Cathy.
So I say, yeah. I know your restaurant now, Caribbean Pirates, is extremely popular. Yeah, you've opened up in Castries at La Place Carénage.
That's right.
So for those of you in Saint Lucia, Robbie should be absolutely no stranger. If you're from the region, then you should come down to Robbie's restaurant and really taste some of what he does there, because it's amazing. We're going to concentrate on the breadfruit today in our kitchen.
It's your call.
And you have a whole spread here for us.
There you go.
Now, what are we going to start off with? What are you going to cook for us on the program?
First of all, let's talk about the breadfruit a little bit, okay? I sometimes like to refer to breadfruit as the potato of the Caribbean. Okay?
Definitely,
Because,
definitely.
you can use breadfruit for almost everything. You can use potatoes, except that when you make it mash, it's a little glutinous, so you may want to add some potatoes to it, or maybe some pumpkin or something
To loosen it a bit.
To loosen it a bit. Okay. And there's a wide world of to explore breadfruit. You can do breadfruit and saltfish, breadfruit and smoked herring, breadfruit pies, breadfruit lasagna, breadfruit soup, breadfruit balls,
Breadfruit
breadfruit
punch.
chip, breadfruit punch. You put a little peanuts in it, a little rum, hook it up. So there's a wide variety of stuff you can do. You can make a shepherd's pie, like they do, and you could use breadfruit as your mash and layer it with, as we have here, with finished, slices of breadfruit or even more mash. Here we have a breadfruit and fish pie, which is like similar to a shepherd's pie that you make with mincemeat and whatnot, which we have on this side.
Okay.
The typical one done with mincemeat, and we've mashed the breadfruits and used the layer as whole breadfruit, so you have a little difference in texture and not just all mushy.
Okay.
Okay. We throw some cheese over that, as Mike is going to finish. Mike could finish mounting this one. And
So
throw
this is, before you just rush through, this is fish in there.
This is a fish stew, just like you make your mincemeat stew. You do the same thing with some crushed fish.
So your
dolphins,
tomatoes, your onions, everything, you
whatever,
stew it all up.
Your Creole fish stew, and you throw it in there. Your leftover fried fish from the day before, 2-3 days before, you chop it up and you make a pie of it with some breadfruit. So you have an inexpensive dish and you have it done nicely, and the children can enjoy it.
And what is around here? This is mashed
That's the
breadfruit.
first layer of mash at the bottom, and the fish mix in the center. And if you have a deeper dish, you can probably go
Keep layering it.
You do a few
Keep
layers
layering
if
it.
you want to, go on.
And that's a delicious pie.
And that's
huh?
a delicious.
It's a
pie.
delicious
Excellent.
dish for dinner also.
This one is the meat version of it. If you're a meat lover, so we at Caribbean Pirates, we cater for every sort of palate. So we give them meat, fish, lamb, name it. Chicken, the works. So we do variations of everything to keep everybody's palates pleased.
Okay, so you do the same sort of idea.
Same sort of idea.
You
with,
do your
with
meat.
meat.
Yeah,
Okay?
your mincemeat sauce, and then you put it into your mashed breadfruit.
Now this one is my all-time favorite. That's we used to do under the bush. Just go and roast breadfruit, slice it up, and put roasted saltfish on it. Now we've shredded the saltfish to pulverize it, and we just sprinkle it over.
So this is roasted breadfruit.
This roasted saltfish, roasted
Just tell the
breadfruit and
people,
saltfish.
I mean, I know we used to do this when we were young.
Yeah.
We used to go and
Go
cut the
out there,
wood and roast the
roast the
breadfruit.
saltfish.
But for those people who are not used to this, just give them an idea of how you roast the breadfruit.
Well, it don't make a difference how you roast it. You get it into some hot fire created somewhere, and you just let it char roast until it's burnt until it's cooked
The
on the
skin
inside.
has to be black.
You
on
penetrate
the
it with
outside.
something to see if it's soft, and you have a roasted breadfruit. You pull it out and you crack it and start. You go in it, like a coconut.
Okay.
Hard nut.
Okay. So you
Now
put it
this
in the
one
fire.
we're gonna do with coconut oil, which is one of my favorites. Okay, you just you just use local coconut oil over roasted saltfish and breadfruit, and mix
Now
a
you keep
lovely
saying roasted
dish.
saltfish.
We roast the saltfish. If you don't have an open fire, you do it right on your stove. Your house will smell
how do you
be stinky
pulverize
for
it?
a while. We chop it by knife, or if you could use everybody, you have your RoboCoupe, your blender, whatever. You just drop the roasted saltfish in there and pulverize it. This was done by Mike's hand.
Okay.
So a
Wow.
lot of elbow grease went into
Wow.
that.
Poor Mike. Poor Mike. Okay.
So that's one of another dish that we offer.
Very
at
simple,
Paris.
very, very nice.
And across there we have the traditional roasted saltfish with breadfruit, avocado, and we do have the cucumber salad, or that goes along with it, and it can be done very nicely.
Now let's just slow down for a second and go back to our breadfruit soup, which is cooking up nicely on
It's
the
just
fire.
finished cooking. It's just ready for blending and serving.
Okay. So what did you put in there? I know you went through the ingredients quickly, but how do you start? Do you start with like pouring oil in first?
Well, you could saute your all your fumiti, as we call it, your onions, your garlic, your celery and stuff, if you want to get more flavor out of it. I like putting it in raw and boiling it all together, like like a one coup bouillon, and then blending it, and you get your same one pot. You get all your flavors in there. Nothing sauteed out. Everything is just boiled in there. And sometimes I use fish stock as a base to enhance the flavor.
Okay.
If you're a chicken lover, you may want to put chicken stock. Okay, so I tend to use a little fish stock to enhance it, so it tastes like a little breadfruit in a broth, and then we blend it and we
Okay.
make that soup.
Okay, now we are rushing
So
through this a
naturally-
bit because, like Robbie says, our time is limited. But once again, the recipes
Go ahead,
are
Mike.
on the website, and you could go and have a look at the recipes so you could get a better idea of how we're doing the dishes here. So Mike is just going to pour this in the blender. I know the breadfruit makes a very, very mean soup.
It looks like it's gonna need a little liquid, so you probably have to add a little cream. If you're watching your diet kick, you put water
Okay.
or fish stock if you want, or if you not watching your diet and you like, nice rich flavors.
I'm not watching my diet, so I think you should pour the cream right on in. Just pop it in.
Okay, blend it up, Mike. We layer that in there, nice and quick. We get some cheese sauce that's pre-made in here. Okay, a nice layer of mincemeat in there. Couple layers of breadfruit again.
You need a spoon?
It should be okay.
Should be alright?
Yeah, give me a spoon for it. Okay.
So basically you just layer it.
You just layer it, just
the
like
same
a typical
way you would,
lasagna.
Yeah.
Okay. And a layer of meat, and you finish off and you throw that in.
And basically it's up to you how many layers you want to put on.
Well, how many layers you can take.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have this. We give it the final layer. Okay.
That's lovely. Look how simple that is. That's quick.
Okay, we sprinkle some cheese on there. Throw it in the oven, comes out, and we all set. Okay.
Great. So you just bake that. How long?
Just bake that. That can be done ahead of time. Put away, and when your guests come home, you put in 6 of them. You have 6 people at the table, and you have 6 nice, lasagna made inexpensively, no pasta, no nothing.
I can deal with that.
And you're all set.
I can deal with that. How long should that bake for in the oven?
That we 10-15 minutes max.
Maximum, and that should be good to go.
And then you're all set.
So basically, when your cheese goes brown, it should be ready to go.
Okay.
Well, excellent. Now, where do we go from here? I know you're going to be doing...
We're going to do a quick little shepherd's pie, a creamy one this time, as opposed to one with a Creole sauce, okay?
Okay.
To get it soft, like, you probably have to add water or milk, because the breadfruit tends to be very glutinous. Okay. So you have to, loosen it as much as you can, as much as you know, okay?
Yeah, lovely.
So then we use that and we make a shepherd's pie with fish, a creamy shepherd's pie, okay? I would butter the dish first, okay? Okay. So that it doesn't stick as much.
So you just sauteed it with fresh fish?
Yep.
In the herbs?
We throw that in.
And this is great for people who don't want to eat meat or chicken.
You know what this is great for? Using your leftovers. Any leftover fish. Sprinkle some cheese over here.
And you just bake that up?
You bake that. Take it up when it gets out. Just garnish it with whatever. A little parsley. Make it look nice. And you send it out. Okay?
Lovely.
And we have another dish here.
Lovely.
Okay.
Well, before we go to our table, we're just going to go to the nutritional table for the breadfruit, so you know what it entails and why you should be eating more breadfruit.
Breadfruit is low in saturated fat, cholesterol and sodium, and is a good source of dietary fiber and potassium.
Hope you got some interesting information there. Now, Robbie, soup is blended.
Yeah, okay, we're going to blend that soup.
Yeah. Okay. So it's good to go?
It's good to go. And then you pour it out.
Smells really nice, actually. It's a lovely soup to serve. It's different. If you want to be, especially if you have people coming to your house.
And what's even nice, give it a little sprinkle of the roasted saltfish. So you stick to
that gives it lovely flavor.
This is the lovely flavor. Or if you want to put roasted smoked herring, or we do roasted sardines. And pulverize.
Are you bottling the saltfish to sell in the supermarkets?
No, we're just using it at the restaurant.
But isn't that a good idea?
It's a great idea.
I just gave you an idea. You think I'll get commission on that?
just give me a little bit of it, okay, after you make it. Right?
Okay, so the breadfruit soup is ready. Thank you, Robbie, for being here with us.
Right.
We're going to go.
Agriculture, one of the pillars of Saint Lucia's economic development, creating opportunities for earning a living for the farmer and his family. From the field to the kitchen, the St. Lucians are finding creative ways of using fruits, crops, and vegetables grown locally. From local seasonings to special brews, from aquaculture to the cultivation of local herbs for export. A strong agriculture industry strengthens the economy. The country needs your support, so buy local.